Hey guys, glad you're here. UPS just dropped this package off from Tower Hobbies. Pretty sure it's our order we placed last week, the PT-20 kit and all of our hardware. Let me get this stuff out of the box and we'll go over it, okay? See you in just a minute. Well, as I mentioned just a second ago, our package from Tower Hobbies came in of the order we made last week. It's our PT-20 trainer kit. It's all there, sealed, and everything was packaged nicely in the box. I was really impressed. But we have our kit. Okay, we'll open that up here in just a little bit. And remember, we saved our pennies for this. Okay, we bought the kit. It was $89 and some change, and some glue and the necessary hardware and the monocoat to start working on the kit while we're saving our pennies for the motor and the radio equipment to go in. Okay, so we've got our 30-minute epoxy. We've got two types of CA here, cyanoacrylate. It's the Tower Hobbies brand, medium and thin. Okay, we're going to mostly use thin during this build, but medium is going to come in quite handy as well. We have our 2-inch and our 2 1/4-inch wheels for the build. We have the wheel collars that are necessary to hold the wheels onto the landing gear wires. Got to have those. We have our Sullivan fuel tank. It's a 6-ounce fuel tank that's appropriate for this application. They make so many different sizes and shapes of fuel tanks for many different applications. This is your typical application for a trainer airplane of this size. We also have 3 feet of fuel tubing and wing seat tape. Now, as I mentioned before, this will actually, it's just a foam tape that's sticky on one side, and it goes into the wing saddle on the fuselage or the body of the airplane. And what that does, that cushions the ride between the wing and the airplane. It prevents damage, and also it cushions any kind of vibrations that may lead to servo damage. You'll see that later on in the build. But let me get this stuff sorted and put away, and we'll unbox our PT-20 kit. I've got some very important information that you're going to need before you even start sanding, poking out pieces, or anything. There's a few important procedures we need to do first. Okay, so I'll see you here in just a minute. Okay, here we are. We've got our kit on our workbench. Ooh, sorry about that. We got our kit out here on the workbench. It's the PT-20 trainer kit, all balsa and light ply construction. It's actually a very good, stable design. It's really strong. You're going to learn how to land with this model. So, I mean, it's built tough in the right spots to take a couple of hard jars. Trust me, you're going to have some while in your learning process. So, we got the kit here. It's taped shut. And if you watched the earlier video when I went through building supplies, one of the things I said we're going to have is a hobby knife. You can pick these up at Walmart, or you can go to Tower Hobbies, of course, and buy one. They're just a couple bucks, and they come with 5 blades as well. Comes in handy, not for just building models, but opening these pesky packages as well. So we're just going to take our hobby knife here. We're going to just cut the tape, like so. Store that so it don't hurt anybody, roll off on the floor, nobody steps on it or anything. Okay. Now, one thing I like to do, I know this is probably going into a lot of detail, but it's just how I like to do things, and I like to explain why sometimes. As soon as I open the box, I'll flip the lid over, turn it upside down. That way I've got a place to put parts, so none of them get lost, because there are small parts in this box that we do not need to lose, or we're going to wind up buying them again. Well, we open the box. I see everything's really nice and tidy, packaged really well, nice and tight. First thing we're going to come across is basically our parts list. This is everything that is in this box, in the kit, and you can use it as a checklist to go through and make sure you have everything. That's not going to be our first step just yet. And dig a little further, we have a manual. Okay, This is the PT-20 and the PT-40 manual. And don't let that confuse you. It's the same manual for both airplanes. Basically, this airplane is the same thing as the PT-40, just a little brother to it. Now remember, we picked the PT-20 for 2 reasons. Well, actually 3. It's a trainer plane. We're going to learn how to fly with this airplane. Cost, okay, we need to look at keeping our costs low. So it was a little cheaper than the PT-40. And also size. We got to lug this thing around to the field after we get it built. There's transport issue that we're going to have to deal with. So you may not have a pickup to strap it down in and go to your local AMA chartered club or field to fly this thing. So we're going to go small with this one. But here's our manual, and it's got everything, even building instructions, flight instructions, a lot of really good informative pictures in there to go by. If you're like me, I read the pictures, okay, and read the words if I have to. Just kidding, we read everything first. It is very detailed about everything you're going to need to know. Not to be fooled, it's got all your parts cut out. You know, if it tells you to look for your wing rib 3A, it shows you what they look like. I mean, it's very detailed, in which you're going to find that really handy. So this thing even tells you how to fly, how to balance, and all that good stuff after we get it built. Don't do that on your own, okay? Find somebody that has experience, and preferably a buddy box. We'll get into that later in the build. But what we build the airplane, we're going to have a second set of eyes check it over, because 2 sets of eyes are better than 1. They may see something that you may have missed as an experienced builder. And also, if you're building one along with us, feel free to take pictures. Send them to our email address, bigskyhobbycorner@gmail.com. And I would be more than happy to personally assist you in your build, even a phone call. I have absolutely no problem with that. After you get it built and you have somebody else look at it, you know, just to make sure everything looks right, we get it covered, we get our motor mounted, we got our motor broke in, we're going nitro on this, okay? Electrics are fun, but again, we're doing it the way it was initially done years ago. You find the help of a qualified pilot to help you with. Myself, I am an intro pilot. What that means is I have the ability, I've taken the procedures to become a flight instructor for models, okay? Not to be confused with the real deal. That's a different YouTube channel. But find someone like myself that's qualified to do so, or your experienced old guy out at the field that would be more than happy to help you. It's not a problem. Got any questions? I got some friends with the Academy of Model Aeronautics. I'll be more than happy to do the research for you, find a club for you, find an instructor, find somebody that's willing to help you. If you're in Duncan, I know I've got some friends in Duncan, Oklahoma that are watching this. Go to Circle E RC right there on Main Street. I've been there myself. Excellent people, really friendly. Lonnie would be more than happy to help you. He's all over the hobby. Cars, planes, helicopters, he's all over it. And his wife, Linda, too. They would be more than happy to help you out. If you can't find any help, like I say, send me an email and I'll get you pointed the right direction. But for the meantime, I'm going to stop the video for a little bit. I'm going to take this manual, I'm going to read it, go through it, and I suggest you do that with yours, even if it's not a PT-40. Whatever trainer you may have, read your manual first. Know what you're getting into before you actually get started. Okay, we'll catch you on the flip side. Just a couple things. We're not going to read through the whole manual, but some really cool stuff in here that the more experienced manuals don't include. I just thought I'd kind of point out in the manual. If you haven't bought the trainer yet, well, I think this was a good one. And you got your index and all that good stuff, but let's get down to the meat and potatoes here. Recommended a sanding block. I think I talked about that in earlier videos. Let me get you here where you can see a little better. There, much better. You remember in the building supply video that we covered a sanding block. Even here, it's recommending a sanding block. If you don't want to make one, you can go to Tower Hobbies and get the Great Plains sanding block. It's the Easy Touch sandbar. And what it is, it's an aluminum extrusion. And you can buy a roll of sandpaper that's sticky on one side and just stick it to the back side, cut it, and you're good to go. A couple other things I thought was really neat. It explains setting up your workshop, all the details in that you want to do. Even tells you how to build a workbench and dimension it properly. That's pretty neat. Also has your different kind of woods that you're going to come across in a kit. Abbreviation is really neat. Different types of screws and your different types of CAs or cyanoacrylates and their purposes for their viscosities. I told you measuring was going to be a big part of it. It comes with the conversion on your metric scale, millimeters to your standard. Talks about different kinds of epoxies over here. And one thing that's really neat about this, throughout the manual, it's got expert tips on how to do certain things. Zipper top food storage bags are a handy way to store your parts. As you sort and identify and separate them, you can put them into different bags. I do that as well, and I use 3M Post-it notes to label the bags, like landing gear parts, wing parts, aileron parts, control horns. Write them on there. It's bright, easy to see. Throw it in the bag. That way you know exactly what they're for. And as I was saying earlier, it's got all the different parts of what everything is for, what they should look like in their die cut sheet or laser cut. And then we get into the instructions. We'll come back here in just a minute, okay? Anyway, I just wanted to cover that with you in the manual. I hope you guys take the time to read through the manual first, at least through the biggest portion of it. That way you have an idea of what you're getting into. Me, what I like to do is I'll read through a section on how to build what we're going to do. This one, we're going to build the stabilizer and the fin. What that is, the horizontal stabilizer, which is the flat part that goes like this, and then the fin is the vertical stabilizer that the rudder attaches to that goes up and down. So we're going to build those two first. Get all those processes done, and see there's even another expert tip. I'm going to read through all this first, and then we'll come back and we'll set up our bench and get to building. Enjoy your read.